There is a 60-minute Nintendo Direct coming tomorrow on September 12th, 2025, and I'm really excited about it because not only are we probably going to get some new Mega Evolutions, but there are rumors, relatively, I wouldn't say substantiated, but relatively big rumors from big people saying that we are going to get a new Pokemon spin-off game that will be announced during this as well. I'm going to try to walk you guys through what I think that Pokemon spin-off game could be, if it's going to be related to any of the other ones that we know, and we'll just see what we end up with. Let me know what you guys think it's going to be in the comment section below, and before we dive any deeper, make sure you guys like and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the great Pokemon Legends ZA, Gen 10, spin-offs, Pokemon Stadium, all that kind of stuff, news here at the Game House. Let's get into it. I know I said Pokemon Stadium. I meant, gosh, why can't I remember what the new battling system is going to be called? I don't know. My brain is farting right now. It's been a long day, but you guys know what I'm talking about. It's coming up here soon, the new way that we're going to be able to battle. I think they may even reveal the release date for that here. What is really interesting to me is that we are in a time where I guess the Nintendo and the Nintendo Switch 2 specifically, they need another new Pokemon game to announce for this Direct. I think there's going to be a lot of potential things that they're going to announce during this one. I mean, 60 minutes is no joke. And it's not like they're going to be showing off, the new hardware or anything like they did, back before we got the Nintendo Switch 2. So, I will say as well, I did do a video similar to this during over at the main Game House channel earlier this year, I believe it was, where I talked about kind of what we might be able to see during the Pokemon Presents back in February. So kind of keep that in mind. If you want to go get maybe a little bit more analysis as to the 5 games, you can already see one that you guys may notice, or maybe 2 of them possibly. But we're going to start here with Pokemon Stadium, specifically Pokemon Stadium 3. Now, we have not gotten a new Pokemon Stadium, like party games, battling, all of that kind of stuff, since, I don't know, I think it might have been early 2000s, like maybe 2000, 2001-ish, whenever Gen 2 came out, obviously. Now, we did get Pokemon, Colosseum, Pokemon Gale of Darkness. Those came out on the GameCube, but we have not had like a proper party game, I would call it, in a pretty long time. The thing is that with the new Pokemon Battler that is going to be coming out, that's name is totally just escaping me at the moment. Again, still, I think that the likelihood of this new announcement being a Pokemon Stadium game is really low. I would say next to zero, mainly just because of the fact that we just can't really, there's no need. They've already got that coming out. The rumor is right now it's going to be in January. I'm sticking with that for right now. We'll have to see, but it's sounding more and more likely that's going to be next year. So maybe that'll be what they officially announce. I would hope not, because, we already know plenty about that game. They just, revealed a pretty good chunk of it, I would say, back during the last Pokemon Presents. The other one that I'm going to say that is not going to happen for is Detective Pikachu. We just recently had a Detective Pikachu Returns, a second one of those games. I would be shocked if the second one didn't do as well as the first one. I think I can see why. I don't love these character designs, but either way, they've had the movie come out, all that kind of stuff. I think that this game goes dormant for quite a while. Another one that people have been talking about is Pokemon Ranger. Now, I love the idea of that, right? These games came out for handhelds, for the DS, 3DS, those types of things, those systems specifically, and a lot of people really liked them. I had the first one myself. I enjoyed it. I wouldn't say it was mind-blowing or anything, but this one feels like it's another one that may be dead, and mostly because of the fact that they were trying to use a stylus for this. That was the whole point of this, is that they were bringing in something new to, they used the system to kind of bring in a new Pokemon game, and they used what was available with that system, with the stylus, with the touchscreen, all that kind of stuff to do it. Now, could they, send out a Pokemon-specific stylus that doesn't really do damage or anything, obviously, to your Nintendo Switch 1 or Nintendo Switch 2, sure. The bigger issue then becomes, are you using the Joy-Cons then to, do all the circling and everything? Can you only play it not in handheld mode, but with the Joy-Cons off to be able to do all the circular motion and everything, to battle, to capture, all that kind of stuff? I don't think so. Again, I'm sorry. I know a lot of people really like these games, but this one to me just feels like a no. I think that this series might be kind of dead as well, just based on the fact that it was, it was good for the system that came out at the time. I just would be really surprised to see us get that one. That being said, those are really the only spin-offs that I thought we couldn't get. The next ones are going to be some that I think there's a possibility for. So let's hop into these ones here. The first one's going to be obviously Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. The last one we had was Rescue Team DX, which I guess we can see here came out in 2020, right? And this was just a remake essentially of Rescue Team, Blue and Red, which was awesome. I know people really love these games. I've tried to start and play them. I probably should just play the Rescue Team DX one. I just never got it for myself. The games do look interesting. The stories are pretty good. People really, really love this series. And every time that there's a new potential spin-off, or every time there's a new, Pokemon Presents, every year we do the same song and dance where there are people who are just like, I want Mystery Dungeon. When's the next Mystery Dungeon coming out? It's been a long enough time to where I could potentially see this coming out. The only issue I'm going to have with this one specifically is this feels like a really good game for them to release when we don't have big games coming out. There are two worries that I have with this. The first would be that they would announce it now. We don't get it until 2027, which I think a lot of people would be bummed out about, but they've been focused on the Pokemon Legends games. Those have been the big spin-offs, even though they're connecting more and more to the main games that we have received over the last, 5 or so years, really since this remake came out. The other worry I have is that they end up announcing that Pokemon Gen 10 is not going to be ready and available until 2027, and so then instead they insert a Mystery Dungeon game. Now, don't get me wrong. I would love to actually be, working in this sort of capacity with a new Mystery Dungeon game. It would give me the opportunity to play these games because I'd be needing to do it for work, so I'd have to kind of force myself to do it. I've, at least tried basically every Pokemon game that has come out ever since I started, doing this sort of work. The problem is that I don't want to sacrifice Gen 10. I want to get Gen 10 out because it has been, years already, 3 years at this point, since the last mainline Pokemon game came out. We haven't had that much of a drought in a long time, and unless if they're going to do something drastic, huge, it will make pushing it back for like 5 years right at that point. We'll already be waiting 4 years in between games. That just feels like a mistake to me. So I'm just going to say I do think that this one is a possibility. I would say it's probably the highest possibility of the main spin-off games that people are asking for all the time. I don't think this is going to be it, but there is that possibility. I would give this one like a 20 to 25% chance of happening. The next one's going to be Pokemon Conquest. And maybe I'm just beating the drum for this game. I know that there are other content creators out there who are. There are other fans of this series who are. Here's what I'm going to say. Like, they've got Final Fantasy Tactics coming out here, coming out here again soon. This game was super underrated. It came out at a weird time when people didn't love the Pokemon Black and White series all that much. Then you had Black and White 2 coming out, right? Like, there was just a lot of things that were working against this game. But if you played it at all, it was a blast. I personally really enjoyed it. The story was pretty good. The way that instead of catching Pokemon, you got, these like new followers that would go out and fight for you. These new samurai, essentially, who would go out and fight for you. It was pretty outstanding. Like, I really just enjoyed it. I thought the era of this game was great. Even if it wasn't in this same era, I think a Pokemon Conquest game would make a lot of sense, right? Again, Fire Emblem, you name it, like all these tactical games that have been coming out, this would be a really good one to get added to the Nintendo Switch 2. Now, I still expect that we might get a Fire Emblem game tomorrow. We haven't had one in a while since we had the Colgate incident I'm not calling it instant, but I think it was Engage, right, is what it's called. But, the red and the blue hair, everybody joked because it looks like Colgate toothpaste. But that aside, I think that this Pokemon Conquest would make a lot of sense, and it wouldn't overshadow anything else that's coming out, and it wouldn't be a game that couldn't maybe stand on its own during a break, right? Because if we get a Legends game this year, a main game next year, the year after, 2027, this would be a game that people would be fine to wait for, I think. I'm still going to put this one at only about a 10, maybe 15% chance. We push for it, but I just don't know if Pokemon, or the Pokemon Company specifically, if they feel the same way about these games. We may never get another one, which would be an absolute shame. I would at least love a remaster of this one, but I still think that there's a chance. They've been pushing a lot of black and white stuff, right? We've got black and white Voltage, like in the TCG card game right now, and I forget what else. There was something else when I was making my original video back here, just as a reminder, this character right here, she's from Pokemon Conquest, but you can see her down here as well. But like, or I think that's her. Is that not her? No, that's not her. That's a different character. Sorry. Either way. I just think that this could absolutely be one, and I wouldn't be surprised to see it happen completely, but I don't know, like, it still feels like a very low chance, and it just feels like it's a great opportunity. The last one, even though it's taking a second to load, why is it taking so long? Here, I'll just type this in. Oh, there we go. Okay, it finally loaded. Pokemon Unite. Now, you're going to be like, but Pokemon Unite's already out, Rob. What are you talking about? I'm talking about their TFT version of the game. I forget what they call it over in, I think it's in China that it's mostly being played right now, but it's like the golden one is from actual Teamfight Tactics. But either way, there is a TFT-like Pokemon game where, similar to Conquest, funny enough, right, you're using a board to place your units. It's auto chess. They battle each other after you do that. It's looked fun. It's looked interesting. I've been waiting for a really long time for this to come out. And I think that they may just end up releasing it as its own game. And maybe that's why they haven't decided to fully announce it. It's been strange because I think it's been out for almost a year in China at this point. And I don't really understand why it hasn't found its way worldwide at this point. But this feels like the perfect sort of game for them to announce at a Nintendo Direct instead of a Pokemon Presents, right? One that's not going to offend too many people, one that they're kind of just taking a chance on, see if it's going to work when they've already been working on, and one that they can release quite literally whenever they would want to, right? Just because, I don't think that this is, again, going to be a game that would overshadow, the Legends game, the new Pokemon battling simulator that I cannot freaking figure out, or Gen 10. I just don't think it's going to be able to overshadow those things, and it's something that they could maybe, release during the summer of next year, or even, now if they really wanted to, right before the new Pokemon game comes out. I just wouldn't be totally surprised with this one. I don't hate it, and I think that there's a decent chance that it could happen. All that being said, and I think, by the way, this one has like a 40-ish% chance to make it happen. But I think that this question mark, this is what I think is going to happen. I don't think it's going to be any of these. And here's why. What I think, I talked about a little bit with Ranger and Stadium. There were two things that I was kind of alluding to there. When Ranger came out, they wanted to show off something new, right? With the system that it came out with. When Ranger came out, they wanted to use the stylus. The other thing that I said is there has not been really a party-like game, that has come out yet for Pokemon in a really long time. With the new camera functionality, with just the new way that they're trying to kind of push these, again, especially the camera function on the Nintendo Switch 2, I wouldn't be surprised to see them come out with some sort of spin-off game involving that for Pokemon, and that's why they're doing it as a Nintendo Direct. instead of a Pokemon Presents, is because it's going to be showing off the new hardware that is a part of the Switch 2 to try to get people to want to buy it. Because like I know I didn't get the camera, most of my friends did not get the camera accessory as well. Now I think that they would still make it so you could play the game without the camera, but I think that they would find a way to make it so it's even better with it. I also think that it's either going to be connected to a party style game, which we've already seen, they updated Mario Party Jamboree with that new TV mode or whatever it's called. I could see them making that connection, or I think that they could just have the camera maybe be a part of it, but not the thing that's like the main portion of it, and actually have it come out as this new party game that's not a Pokemon Stadium game, but like has all of these random mini games as well. The Nintendo Switch and the Nintendo Switch 2 have always been about, playing with other people for the most part, or playing on the go on your own. Party games like Mario Party and all that kind of stuff, like that just makes a ton of sense to me. I'm really surprised that Pokemon has not done anything like that in a really long time. And I feel like that is the most likely option for us as we head into it. Something that's not connected to any of the other games that I talked about, and instead is going to be something that's on its own. But either way, we are going to find out here very soon, close to like 12-ish hours after I release this video. We will be finding out. I want to know what you guys think. Do you think it's going to be one of those options that I said? Is it going to be one of the options that I thought it definitely would not be? Or is it going to be totally random and something completely new? Personally, if I had to rank them, I would want Conquest first, then probably Mystery Dungeon, and then the Pokemon Unite TFT game, because I think that'll come out at any time, whenever. But I still think the most likely option is something that we haven't seen before that's going to use that new hardware, and people are going to be super excited about it, whatever. I think it's going to be just an okay game at most, and that's probably why they're doing a Nintendo Direct. But we'll have to see. A lot of different theories out there. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. But that is going to wrap it up for us on this one. So from our house to yours, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.